Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Two Vintage Sports Guys. I am your host, Joe Rendacci. My partner, Paul, is on vacay, so I brought in a special podcast guest host today. It's Mr. Ricky Goldman. What's up, Ricky?
Hey, hello, Joe. Hello, everybody. Thanks for having me on.
That's it. Want to say anything else? Kick it off there.
I mean, I don't know. You want me to talk about my lifestyle, my whole past?
If you could say it in about 8 seconds, yeah, sure, go for it.
Well, I grew up in Dallas. I'm a big Cowboys fan. I went to University of Arizona. My team did not do well over the weekend against Michigan. We can talk about that too if you want to. But at least we know that Michigan did win because they were the best. And I'm also a big Braves fan. So it's baseball season kicking in. And, Joe, we could talk about your lovely Mets also.
So as you can see, people, we are good friends who are mortal enemies when it comes to our baseball teams, but we'll get to that. But as you alluded to, let's kick it off with last night's finals between the Michigan Wolverines and the UConn Huskies. I personally was rooting always against UConn as a St. Johnny's fan, so I know long time suffering right there. And they beat them 69-63. They kind of led most of the game. I know it went a little back and forth in the first half. Second half, they pretty much held the point spread, and I think the point spread was what, 6.5?
Yeah, it was actually interesting. I was watching. All right, yeah. So I was watching the game last night, and it was funny because I was watching on this one app, and I was listening to all the chatter about these guys, and everyone's freaking out because it got pretty close. And then they end up winning by 6.5. I think the spread was 7. So all Michigan had to do was to just get one more basket. So it's funny to watch those who miss it.
Yeah, I think it was. I saw it last 6.5, and they won by what they went.
Oh, you're
6,
right. You're right.
So,
They were 6.5, and they won by 6. I knew in some way they did not cover. They missed it by half a point. So you're right.
Yep. And as far as we had, who won the MVP for Michigan?
Elliot Cadeau. It's amazing, this Michigan team. If you really break it down, every starting player, and I think what was proven last night, which was proven during the college football period when Indiana won it all, is that the NIL is going to be a big difference when it comes to these big time sports. And Michigan has proven it because they've got a really high budget. In fact, Lendenborg was supposed to go to Kentucky. He was supposed to make anywhere from $7 to $9 million. He turned that down to go to Michigan. So you can see overall that NIL has proven to be big for Big Ten. They got a lot of big spenders, and of course they just won it all. So now, kudos to the Big Ten for winning it in basketball and winning it in football, and let's see what else they can win it in.
So the whole larger question then, which we won't go into on this podcast, maybe another, is, as you said, NIL, portal, year-to-year champions, not really building dynasties, nobody sticking around. If we just, is it good or bad for the sport? Well, you'd have to start with, one, it's been bogus all these years that they were supposed to be collegiates not getting paid, as I do my air quotes, because they would get paid under the table with everything from vets and, every car or any jewelry or anything else they were getting paid with. So let's just put it all on the table. They are basically pros, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Pros, right? So, but I find it more interesting that, to your point, you could go get Indiana to win last year in college football. This is Michigan's first one, since the original Fab Five?
No, this is their first win since 1989. Remember Ramil Robinson? He won on the free throw line against Seton Hall. That was 1989.
What was the Fab Five?
No, the Fab Five was 91-92. They lost the first time. They got blown out by Duke. I think it was 91-92 year. 92-93 year was the North Carolina year when oh God, not his name is blanking on me, when he called the timeout at the very end when he wasn't supposed to.
And you know what? They'll still not have the notoriety of that Fab Five. And who was that? No. Jalen?
Yeah, it was Rose. Chris Webber that called the timeout. Chris Webber was the one who called the timeout. Lost it to them. They didn't have the timeout. Jalen Rose, you all know Jalen Rose. He was part of the Pacers, and he was also part of the famous fight that took place in Detroit, Malice at the Palace. Juwan Howard, Jimmy King, and Ray Jackson. That's your Fab Five from 1991-93. But yeah, so Michigan winning it last night was the first time since '89. And good for them. So first time for a Big Ten school.
that Fab Five, I think, was really like a Fab 3.5. They really didn't all go on to the same acclaim, but that's fine.
Yeah.
All right. So when we look at then, let's just take the UConn and Michigan last night and the way the sports card industry rages and burns and turns that quick, then what we're seeing already is that, as you said, Cadeau, who won the MVP, his card's already on the rise. I can't pronounce these names. Yaxel Lenborg, right, on
Yeah.
Michigan, Big Ten Player of the Year. His cards are on the rise in the Topps Bowman University cards. And then for UConn, even though he had a crappy game last night, Braylon Mullins he's a legend in packs now after knocking down Duke. So that's good. And we're seeing that the trend is these 2025, 2026 Topps Finest and Topps Chrome for these collegiate stars are really starting to challenge some of the NBA. What cards, did you collect any cards as a kid?
I did. I collected baseball cards back then. So
Yeah, it's funny. Like,
that was all I collected. There was no major NFL cards to be collected back in the 70s and 80s that I can recall.
well, we all missed Jordan in '86 when we were collecting, baseball
True.
cards that weren't of any value.
Right, exactly.
That's one of the biggest ones right there. But yep, so keep an eye on watching the college cards go up. We look at what else is going on last night. We had the Dodgers, Toronto Blue Jays, first game rematch after that thrilling World Series. What was your thoughts on the World Series? Who were you rooting for?
The Dodgers, regardless of what you think, is the best franchise around. I mean, they're spending the money. They're making these incredible deals. I'm not a big Blue Jays fan last year, and you saw last night that the Blue Jays, nor any team can hang with the Dodgers. I mean, Ohtani only has one home run for the year. That's it. And the rest of the team is just knocking it out of the park. And to top it all off, they actually had really good bullpen pitching this year. So they're just going to win it again. You can just be rooting for your team as much as you want until you get to the playoffs.
The Dodgers, it goes back to kind of like the NIL and portal and all that. Is what they're doing right or wrong? Should they stop doing it, or should the other franchises start doing it? Should they really invest more money and be more competitive, or is this just going to keep happening?
Well, I mean, so the Dodgers right now are scoring 7+ runs in multiple straight games, right? Their pitching staff is unbelievable with Diaz now as the closer. So I would think teams like Mets, Yankees, Padres, Braves, Phillies, I mean, they're going to have to start spending some serious dollars to catch up, because if they don't, it's never going to be ending. There is going to be a lockout at the end of this year. It's going to happen. The only team that probably does not want the lockout are the Dodgers, right? Because everyone wants to lock them out because of that particular team. And then, of course, you have the A's Foundation, which they don't want to spend the money. And part of the lockout that's going to happen is basically they're going to want to raise the minimum, so teams have to spend, and then of course cap it so then teams like the Dodgers cannot overspend. So it's going to happen. We're going to see it, but as of right now, I can't see any team competing. I mean, Wroblewski last night pitched 5 innings, 1 earned run, 5 strikeouts, 1 base on ball. I mean, it's incredible what this team is doing.
This goes back to, is it the Dodgers' fault, or is it the way baseball is structured? Was it?
No,
and again, as a Met fan, nobody hated the Yankees and Steinbrenner more than me for decades, but was it his fault, or was it still the league's fault?
It's the league's fault. It's the league's fault. Money. It's the league's fault. The league has to. Teams are going to have to start spending the money to catch up with the Dodgers, or they're going to have to put a cap. And then
we've been saying this since the Yankees in the '70s, right? Like if you can't get, if they couldn't get past Marvin Miller, like I think, what did I just read? The MLB Players Union has like $600 million war chest right now.
Yeah.
Like they could sit out for 2 or 3 years, right? So why? They're never going to let a cap go in, and there needs to be a cap, not this luxury stuff where you just pay more money I mean, you mentioned it before. You said the Mets and the Yankees, and I don't know who else you mentioned, have to catch up. I think the Mets on paper, because of the Dodgers restructuring of paying like Shohei like $1 a year and then like 70 million like on the back end, Like they're being creative. And the Mets spent the most money, couldn't make the playoffs last year. So
That's true. I mean, I think Tucker, how much did they pay Tucker? I think the Dodgers did barely pay any money for Tucker this year.
and then come on, Toronto should have won last year. They
missed it by an
breaking
inch.
the asterisk next to losing to the Dodgers last year. It was just ridiculous in that last second blowing that. But I think they're a traveling all-star team. That's the bottom line with the Dodgers. And again, are they doing anything wrong? No. If you're going to put in bad guidelines, like you said, from the league, this is what you get, right?
Yeah. Listen to this Kyle Tucker deal. This is how, I don't know why other major league franchises don't do what the Dodgers can do. It makes the most sense. So maybe there needs to be more creative financiers on each individual team. But for Kyle Tucker, they're only going to pay him $1 million base salary for this year. That's it, just $1 million. His deal includes a $30 million in deferred money. It's a 4-year contract, $240 all in, but this year alone is only $1 million. I mean, make that make sense. How is it that the Dodgers can do that? Like you said earlier about the Ohtani's deal. How can it doing with their creative financing, and yet other teams are not doing it? Is there something that they're more creative than the other teams?
Well,
or is it
to that point, there's paying him, and then what goes against the luxury tax. So what's the difference there? Again, you could pay him what they're paying Shohei, and again, I just threw a joke out there, but let's say they're paying him $10 a year. He's not going against the luxury cap for $10, right? So there has to be a certain amount of money. It's not the whole thing, right? It's not 70 million is going against their number for this year. So again, you'd have to delve into all that, but if you give any of these teams loopholes, they're going to exploit them, right?
And that's the big point there, Joe, is that why is it that the Dodgers are the only team that can figure out this loophole, yet other teams can't?
I think they can. They just don't want to spend the money.
No, but it goes back to your first question. Your question was, is it the Dodgers or is it the league? It's the league. They can't seem to figure out what the Dodgers are doing, or they don't want to do what they're doing. So I think in the end, the league or teams are going to have to get more creative and figure out ways to pay players, because you know what's going to happen. I mean, Judge is going to end up on the Dodgers at some point.
I don't see that happening.
You don't see that happen? Who do you think?
I'll bet you a lunch on that one, but the Yankees are not letting. That's like letting Mickey Mantle or Joe DiMaggio go. That's how big Judge is in New York. And
okay, so let's take another play. Okay, so let's take a real player that
even though they did get rid of the Babe.
Well, exactly. Here's a real player that everyone's talking about that's going to be on the market, and I guarantee you, and I will bet a lunch with you on this one. We'll end up on the Dodgers, and that's Paul Skeens. He's 100% going to be a Dodger, no question.
I can't. I mean, again, if you're Pittsburgh, like, how do you let the guy go? You got to pay him whatever he wants.
They're not going to pay him. The owners, the fans have been wanting them to sell the team forever. They have one of the nicest ballparks of all the major league teams, yet they can never put the right talent out there because they only have 1 or 2 young kids out there. And then when they get really good, and then their contract is over, their rookie contracts are over, they're gone, right? And I can't see Paul Skeens with Pittsburgh. They can't afford him. Not to mention, he's got Livy Dunn, his girlfriend, probably soon to be wife. They're going to want to go to LA because that's where all the extra money is at, too.
Are you saying Pittsburgh is not the hotbed of Hollywood entertainment?
Well, not right now. They do have the best TV show on HBO right now, even though it's all being filmed in LA. The Pit is the best show out there. Just throw a little plug out there for that show.
So right now you got the Dodgers sitting at 8-2. You got the Yankees sitting at 7-2. So there's the money, right? If you look at the Central, you really got not much going on in the American League, right? Cleveland, Kansas City, Minnesota, Chicago, and Detroit. Where's the money?
The benefit of the Central, of just in that group alone, is the fact you don't have any outrageous owners or groups they're going to outspend. So literally those teams can just be mediocre, just get to the playoffs, and then from there see what happens, because you never know, once you get to the playoffs, things can happen. right? Like Toronto. Well, Toronto. And anyway, so there's a chance. But then you look in the National League here. I mean, you get the Marlins right now at 6-4. They're gonna fall apart at some point. Your Mets were struggling at 3-4 at one point. Now they won 3 in a row. They're actually playing well. The Braves have lost 3 in a row, so now they're back down to the bottom where we kind of expected. The Brewers are doing good. The Reds are always kind of start off hot. Even the Pirates typically start off hot. They're 6-4 right now, but all these teams are. It just kind of gets back to the means.
I think it'll be Brewers, Pirates, and I think Cincinnati will hang around in that division. I mean, it can never really count St. Louis out, and the Cubs shouldn't be in last place in that division. So
it's early. It's 10 games in. We're gonna have 150 games.
I know. I'm going to talk you off ledges every year forever about.
Well, I know, and there's the Dodgers already 3-game lead on the Diamondbacks. I mean, come on. So.
Yeah. Yeah, no, if you really look, yes, it's early. It's 10 games in, but a lot of parity, right? Nobody other than really the Yankees and Dodgers are jumping out there. But
by the way, getting back to last night's game real quick, the Toronto LA game. See, Scherzer you went out at the second inning with injury to his arm.
I saw he left. What did he go out with?
He had something to his arm. I mean, I'm not really sure. Sign because he had a forearm tightness and tendonitis is what they're calling it. So, I mean, he's one of their major stars. So, and that's the thing. Finding a starting pitcher is not that easy.
How old is he now?
I think he's 40, right?
No, Scherzer. I thought we got rid of him from the Mets like 2 years ago when he was already. Well.
Oh, you're saying like he's above 40?
I think he's above 40. How old is he? Hang on.
About looking it up.
Let's see.
He's 41.
41. Yeah, no. I don't know what they're paying him. I don't know how it's structured, but you can't find somebody in the minor leagues that can give you something towards him now at this point for much less money.
Apparently, finding a good arm is not easy to find. So, and when you do find a good arm, this is the problem the Braves have had. Is that and this is in general for Braves players, as I know the team the best, is that what their general management team has been able to do is to get these young talent and sign them for a long contract, like 10 years. The issue has been is that it's great because now you're paying them like Albie's paying them like $14 million, you're paying Acuna like $15-16 million, but you only get a couple great years and then a lot of like meh years, kind of blah years. So. You're paying them for talent, hoping it's going to last long, but never the case. And why I'm bringing this up is that Strider, who was our ace pitcher we signed for a 10-year deal for $70 million, he's already injured again. Who knows when he'll be back? And his pitching, his velocity is not the same as it was a couple years ago. So it's not easy to find this kind of arm talent.
So let's end it on this. With Acuna, I don't even see his stats. How's Acuna doing right now after the WBC? Because we think Skeens, who couldn't get out of the first inning versus the Mets, was tired. How's your boy doing?
So right now, I'm pulling up the Brave stats right now. So both Acuna and Austin Riley are struggling badly. So let's see. I think they're both batting in the hundreds. Batting averages.
Do you think next time this rolls around in 3 years, you don't want your stars to go to play in the WBC in the World Baseball Classic?
Oh, I thought when Acuna, he had so much energy during the Classic. I thought it was going to translate into this year, starting off like he did during his MVP year. It hasn't done so yet. He's batting 175. Austin Riley's batting 162. This is not good for your starting lineup. I mean, your best player is the rookie of the year, Drake Baldwin, who's hitting 318. So what do you do with Acuna when his contract ends in 3 years? Do you keep him, not keep him? I would trade him before that ever happens if you're not going to keep him. And
as much as I hate your Braves, they're too smart. Your front office is too smart. They'll figure that out at the time. But I will say this: we'll leave it with this. Maybe the WBC is following the jinx of the home run derby, because guy who always wins that can't get a hit for like the next 2 weeks.
I will never forget that WBC from 3 years ago when Diaz tore his Achilles or whatever that was on celebrating when they won it.
You can't, yeah. I mean, it's one thing to get hurt in the game. It's another thing jumping up and down after you've won the game.
That was it for your Mets. That was it for
That
Mets.
heartache is perfect spot to end this podcast. I want to thank you for guest hosting. We'll have you back here soon. And what do you want to say to the fans on your way out the door?
I just want to say thank you to everyone out there. Keep reaching for the stars, keep reaching for your favorite team, and most of all, go Braves.
So reaching for the stars means just buying them like the Dodgers every year, or did you mean that more?
Yeah, I guess something like that. I don't really know. I'm just talking out loud here. I mean, I'm full of dreams. It's kind of funny. Getting back to Arizona's debacle against Michigan the other night, I put it out like this: we had a dream of a season, a nightmare of a game, and a very bright future ahead of us. So that's pretty much how I ended it with that one.
All right, sounds good. Take it easy, all.